Coalition, Protection Coalition. You'll notice I made it through Sonia's, which is long too. Ellis is here with us, and so is Nancy Brown, who's with the League of Women Voters of Ohio. And so I thought this is a good point to ask questions, but feel free to also ask both Ellis and Nancy questions as you're going through.
Sorry.
Well, I guess I should say something. My name's Ellis Jacobs. I'm from Dayton. And the Miami Valley Voter Protection Coalition, I have a hard time saying it,
Yeah, it's true.
is a local group made up mostly of lawyers that on election day does this sort of election monitoring project that you heard Sonia talk about. And just to give you some idea about what it typically looks like, this year we'll probably have 25 folks. We'll have a command center. We'll have an office. We'll have somebody down at the Board of Elections. We'll have people out driving around, standing outside polling places, and talking to voters about their experience, just to make sure that everything's going smoothly. If we see a problem, then we'll make calls to the Board of Elections, or we'll do whatever it takes to make sure the problem gets resolved. It's the kind of thing we've done since 2004, and it always works pretty well. And usually, at least in Montgomery County, we haven't found real big problems, but when you spot a problem, voters really appreciate having an advocate available to help them get it resolved. We got a great relationship with the Board of Elections in Montgomery County, as I'm sure the other advocates will in their counties all around the state. And the boards of elections seems to appreciate having folks out in the field to help them get a second and third set of eyes on how it's going on election day, because we all want a great experience for all voters on election day, and we have every reason to think it will be a great experience. The message I'm trying to get at is that the experience for voters this year won't be, I mean, from the voters' perspective, it shouldn't be any different than the experience they've had in prior years. We haven't changed the voter ID law in the state of Ohio. Same documents will work as have always worked. I guess the biggest change is that there's not going to be much in-person early voting on weekends, except for the last weekend, assuming the court case doesn't get overturned, right? Other than that, it's going to be just what we're used to, and we want to make sure that all the voters feel comfortable getting out and exercising this absolutely critical right. Nancy, do you want to say something?
Yes, I will. I'm sure you know that the League has always been committed to ensuring that all voters have the opportunity to vote, that they don't run into problems at the poll, and that their vote gets counted. And like some of these other organizations, we have some very fine literature this year that we are trying to distribute to make sure that voters aren't confused by all the changes and talk of changes in election law, many of which didn't come into being, but voters aren't quite sure. And we are also targeting college students. We have a Vote 1, 2, 3, and we have one brochure that is aimed specifically at college students so they understand their rights. We too hope it's going to be a very successful election where we don't have problems, but it will be good that we'll have folks there if there are.
So do you